Air signs, I hope you're all doing well today. I hope your February and your year 2023 is going well so far. So before I get too far into this, I want to remind you that you should probably take a look at your air sign yearly forecast, as well as the general forecast for everybody living in the United States. Okay, there's some pretty good information in there that might be really helpful to you personally, okay? But please bear in mind that you need to take what resonates with you and leave behind what doesn't, okay? So we're going to do a 9-card spread or a portrait spread on what specifically we're going like Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We're going to be taking a look at what those signs can expect over the course of February, okay? So around here, I shuffle until Spirit tells me to stop. Aquarius, let me handle you first, okay? So I am using the 7th sphere Lenormand. And let's get started. I am laying out your top row. Okay, so Aquarius, it looks like you're opening something up that has been a long time coming. So this is like something new, revolutionary that's coming to the surface, but it's also been growing for a minute. Aquarius, you may have been working pretty hard on bringing this new revolution to yourself. High vibing, folks? Yes. Spirit smiles on you if you are high vibing. I see that in the past, leading up to this month, February, that there were quite a few risks, chances being taken with a really painful cycle. It could be that there was an individual being abused here. The whip lands on the house of the snake, which is about lies. So there might have been some lies that you believed about your family. The risks card, or risk reward, depending on your situation. So this lands on the house of the home, which is about family, what goes on behind closed doors, privacy, that kind of thing. So you may have been taking some private risks with this particular lie that was causing all kinds of conflict for you. And I see that this cycle kept repeating itself really, really quickly. It may have been repeating itself so quickly that you weren't aware of how this was affecting you in the past. However, I see you renewing your commitment right here to your inner child, okay? And now there is still, it lands on the house of the clover, which is right over here. Risk, reward. There is some risk in going forward, right? Because it could be, like, depending on how you take things going forward, these could be positives or these could be negatives. What are you like as a person? So this might be something that you don't really talk about to people because this lands on the house of the coffin, which is about things that we keep secret from people, like possibly even secret from ourselves, like it's buried way deep. Here with the house card, with things being behind closed doors, there's a group of people who are in on the secret. Here with the coffin, you are in on the secret, and maybe spirit guides, ancestors, the universe, that kind of thing, but that's it. There are no like physical humans who are aware of what you're doing here to maybe take care of your inner child, okay? So I still see some risks going forward, especially if some bad therapeutic decisions are made. But I suspect that like choosing a great therapist could help a lot. Now that's your present situation, okay, in February. Coming up in the future, there is the possibility that you could run into some really destructive gossip when it comes to some social circles that are valuable to you. So I talked over here about family, Aquarius. Family might be coming back around in the future to kind of make things a little bit annoying. Now, this is what's interesting. Bouquet is landing on the house of the bouquet. So this is about people who these are not deep connections at all. These are very surfacey kind of people. These are people who may not be very good at any introspection, and that's part of why we've got the Lion card over here with the conflict, is they might see the things they're saying as truths, their truths, but they're actually lies, is what I'm kind of getting. Like, these are flaky, childish people, not childlike. There's a difference between childish and childlike, okay? So these people like continuously go through this cycle. These are destructive people, it looks like, that you've left behind, Aquarius, and it looks like you'll do well to like continue to leave them behind. Yeah. Right over here, you are unlocking you are unlocking some real risks going into the future. It may be that you have the risk of repeating habits. Like, it may be that you grew up in this environment. These patterns are comfortable for you. You might repeat them without meaning to. So high vibing Aquarius, if you don't want to repeat these patterns, it might be a valuable experience to examine how they treat you from the perspective of a neutral third party. Again, like a therapist or like an emotionally stable friend who is very close to you, and it doesn't have a problem saying, you don't deserve to be treated like this. You deserve better, and the people around you deserve to be treated better as well. Okay, Aquarius? It's not that you mean to hurt people with your words, but I'm getting that whole hurt people, and I hate that particular phrase, because hurt people still have a responsibility to be good to other people. Hurt people don't have to hurt other people. That saying drives me insane, okay? Aquarius, I feel like you might be in that kind of same vein of thought, that you feel like even if I am hurting, I will be good to other people. It just might be that you might unconsciously repeat some patterns that you're not that aware of, okay? Therapy will help, being humble and honest with the people, saying, I'm so sorry, this is not where I want to be. I will continue to do better, and I understand that you might choose not to accept my apology until I do get better, until I show results. I think you can do that, Aquarius. You're high vibing. So specifically, I see that you have a leaning towards the drama in a situation. In fact, Birds lands on the house of the ship, which is about a long-term journey, maybe physical, but also very much spiritual. So this is a long-term habit that you need to break, that your family kind of bred into you, if you will. I can actually see how with the past influences, this diagonal right here, that your family who created all kinds of, or I should say your family of origin, created all kinds of conflict, created all kinds of lies to make the conflict go down a little bit easier. And that just led to permanent drama for yourself and for the other people left behind in the family that you may not be in contact with anymore. Please be in mind that there is the risk that you could repeat the cycles that your family members have, like I was saying, okay? So those are the challenges that you are probably facing in February, Aquarius. I want to get into what some good advice is for you. And let me pull up the whole tablecloth. Okay, Aquarius, what advice for you to handle the situation as best as possible this month? These are my Ogam Rune sticks. Okay. So I'm still memorizing mine. I've got my little Ogam Rune cheat sheet. I know that this is the bramble, and that's about harvest, celebration, ecstasy. So this is something that grows fast with sharp pricks, like sharp thorns. There you go. There's the word, needles, thorns. This one grows with sharp thorns, but it has really tasty fruit, according to my cheat sheet. So you are breaking free right here. I can see in many, many ways. You are revolutionizing yourself in many ways. However, do be cautious that you're not repeating cycles that your family has taught you. Also, we've got 4 strikes to the right. They don't strike through. This is hazel. This is wisdom, inspiration, divination, creativity. How can you handle this month as best as possible? Celebrate your creativity. Celebrate how much wisdom you have acquired over the past months, years of experience, if you will. You've accumulated quite a bit of experience that has shown you how people treat you. And it might be the time to make adjustments based on how those people treat you. So, folks, yes, Aquarius, you are over with. I'm going to move on to Gemini. Take care, Aquarius. Tifa, Tifa. Gemini, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're having a great February so far. Let's take a look at a 9-card spread, a portrait spread, if you... I think I had a card flip over, did I? I didn't. Let's take a look at what your... Well, now I do. So a card that flipped over really quick was the, what is most valuable to you card, basically. This is the Pearl of Great Price. This could be about finances. This could be something that's really, really deeply valuable, okay? So I'm going to flip that over, and if Spirit wants that card to be out in the spread, it will be out, okay? But we can definitely say that that's part of the theme of your reading, Gemini. Right. So let's do this. This is your top row. Interesting, Gemini. So this isn't so much about a man. You could be masculine. You could know someone who is masculine, but it looks like this is more about the masculine aspect that is within us all, regardless of our gender expression or our gender identity. And that's really about very much about in, I guess not even masculine, the spirit, the very spiritual kind of abstract sense. Okay, so this is more about going out and getting stuff, which I kind of associate right over here with Fox. And for whatever reason, Leo is coming up over here. Normally that doesn't happen with Lenormand cards for me personally. That happens with tarot cards with me. But I'm seeing that you are possibly having some success coming to you after you've been surviving for quite some time. I'm getting some Emperor energy right here, especially because, Gemini, Animus lands on the house of the tree, which is about something that's been growing up for a long time. I would call this maturity at this point. I would say that your more firm, rule-making, rule-enforcing side, take no shit kind of side, grew up quite a bit. And so this card could be destructive in some context, but it's also about having to survive in really negative circumstances. Foxes are incredibly intelligent. And today we think of them much more differently than our ancestors did when this particular deck, the Lenormand deck, was created. Now we kind of think of them as very cute, just crazy, crazy cat animals, I guess. This is more about surviving in rough environments and not so much about stealing stuff, which might be other interpretations, okay? So I'm seeing you having quite a bit of success this month in February because this is something you've been working your ass off for, and it's been a long time coming. You've been surviving. Maybe even surviving at the edge of society, okay? Take that as it resonates, Gemini. I see this as you have consistently chosen your survival above all else. And quite possibly that you've been forced to choose your survival above everything else. First and foremost, you've been forced to take care of yourself for a long time. This might have happened really suddenly and just kind of stayed. And I also see how this choice was made on a lie. It may have been that your family set up habits for you, your family of origin created habits for you or encouraged them, and that the choices that were made based on what your family taught you were actually lies, or that's not completely how the universe works. I would say, like right over here, you've got the snake. That's definitely about a hidden agenda. And I can absolutely see how some Gemini's family members have hidden agendas. You know, I heard once that a lot of Geminis have emotionally immature parents, and there may be some of that dynamic going on. They may have told you stuff about you to keep you dependent on them because they're childish. They need people in their lives, but you don't. Or you do need people in your life, Gemini, but you're pretty tough and you may hide it better than other people. And that's something else about animals in the wild, is they're kind of forced to hide injuries because showing injury means that you're at risk for becoming prey for somebody else. So I see, a deeply isolated Gemini who believes lies about their isolation, believes that they're supposed to be here in isolation. You both are and you're not. You don't have to be in the crazy deep isolation that you have to be. I see that there is like both risk and reward in being this alone. But yeah, very separate. It's not easy to get in touch with you, not easy to get in contact with you. I can see that much. You know, and you might be kind of an enigma. There might be like people just like believe lies about you and you don't give a flying fuck anymore because you're just so far away from them. Like mentally speaking, you couldn't be bothered to give a flying fuck about them. They may have hurt you really, really deeply, honestly. And with the fox having to land on the house of family, if you will, yeah. You know, families are supposed to nurture their kids. They're not supposed to, like, force them to have coping skills, survival skills, if you will. I see you having an emotional reckoning this month. It'll be a successful one, ultimately. It's also going to expose a lot about yourself that... Oh, I see it burning the clouds, a way of confusion. So the sun lands on the house of clouds, which is about not being able to see things clearly. You are going to be able to see things clearly in the future, and it is going to be in a really emotional moment for you. Having this moment with maybe an experienced therapist might be really, really helpful, okay? But this is going into the future. That's your past, your present, your future. This is what's going on subconsciously, what's going on consciously, and what is your reality that you're working with. Spirit's pulling my attention back to the Lenormand spread. So I see you as being someone who is pretty stable with your emotions and probably with your intuition too. It's probably that you're in pretty deep connection with your intuition. I would expect that from somebody who's been forced to survive. You made a choice to cut people off, didn't you? Good God, Gemini. I'm not surprised. You did what you had to do to protect yourself, didn't you? High vibing, folks. Okay, now what can you do to handle February as best as you possibly can? Okay. So y'all have got the bramble, which is about celebrating a harvest And it's interesting with brambles, you'll get delicious fruits, but they don't come without pain, as you very well know, Gemini. There are quite a few thorns, but this is about being able to pick fruit after the thorns, right? You've been working with thorns your whole life, quite possibly, and I suspect that's what's going on here. But now you're able to celebrate the fruits that come from really, really awful situations. If you choose to stay high vibing with Gemini, you are. If you're paying attention to this particular reading, if this resonates with you, you are in a high vibing position. I have 5 strikes to the right. Yes, to the right. There we go. This is the ash tree. This is about spears. This is about peace, connection, astral travel. In Norse mythology, ash is often named as the world tree. So I'm reading off a cheat sheet. So when I think of like the world tree, I'm thinking of like the world tarot card. You are in a state of transition into a new era. It's like you are being rewarded for your hard work. That's what the fruits, after all the thorns, is about. So you are deeply protected. Yep. Spears, spiritual spears, if you will. You have definitely gained them. I think it's fascinating that we have spiritual spears and brambles over here. Lots of natural illusions, if you will. Yeah, definitely. We were talking about astral travel. This might be a really good point to, because you're in a state of transition, to hop between dimensions, if you will. Get in touch with a guiding spirit, with an ancestor. You might have a really unique opportunity to speak to their spirits that might not come again for a while. Also might need to look at what's going on astrologically for you personally, according to your birth chart. There might be some really neat celestial events that have some influence on what's going on for you this month as well as for this year. We are in the year of the rabbit, Gemini, and I should probably say that for all air signs. Air signs are the rabbits, right? So this is the year of the water rabbit. So this is about intuitive, emotional, and I can see that right here, that there's going to be some like really emotional discoveries that you're going to have this particular year. Therapy will work well whenever you feel like the emotions are getting too overwhelming, okay? Gemini, please take care of yourself, and I'm going to move on to Libra. Libra, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're having a good February so far. Did I have a card flip? Yes. Ring, commitment, Aquarius. That could be a commitment. That could be repeating a cycle. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Around here, I shuffle until Spirit tells me to stop. These are the 7th Sphere Lenormand cards. Okay, that's your top row. Interesting. Is this a bit of a relationship reading, Libra? Now, Aquarius came to mind just a second ago. You might have some Aquarius in your birth chart, okay? Now, I see that you are having a reckoning this month. It is an emotional reckoning with your isolation. Maybe you've put a great deal of distance between yourself and others. I see there being quite a bit of confusion around your isolation, so you may not know completely why. You may be kind of hiding the reason from yourself. You may not want to admit the reason to yourself why you are so isolated. But, and I almost said Aquarius again, Libra, this is going to be a really powerful moment for you this particular month, and you need to have it. That is your current reality for this month. Subconsciously, your feminine aspect of yourself, like I was saying, this could be a relationship reading, but it could also be the feminine and masculine aspects within yourself. And I mean like in the spiritual sense, not so much in the gender expression. Spiritually, many would say that we have balances of animus and anima within ourselves. This is someone who made a choice really, really quickly. Out of pain, it sounds like. I can see that you may have been bitten by some really nasty lies that moved quickly. And this may be something that your husband, your boyfriend, a male figure in your life who you had a lot of love and respect for, someone who's deeply risky, by the way, right? He lands on the house of risk, reward, the clover, which is about taking gambles. This particular man told you some lies, and they were really quick and easy for him to say, okay, Libra? This is interesting because the moon is landing on the house, which is about what goes on behind closed doors. Like, you knew the stuff was wrong, but you really, really didn't want to leave. It may have been that you believed some lie. Like, it wasn't just the lies that he was telling. You may have, like, flat out believed them. You might have been coming from a place of lies when it comes to how you operate in your relationships. There may be something in your family of origin that kind of set up patterns for you to break, unfortunately. That's going to be about ending family generational curses, ending generational trauma, making it so that the buck stops with you. I see his lies being exposed this month in February, Libra. They may be yours. I don't know whether you're going to show up as the animus or the anima, okay? You really need to take this as it resonates. But somebody's lies are going to be exposed. And it's going to take a while. And it's like this guy, he constantly takes risks with the lies he tells, but he keeps telling them, and they keep getting exposed. He may not be a very good liar. He just may be like a comforting mechanism for him. This is about emotional isolation. He may have, kept you from, connecting to other people on an emotional level because it was risky for him. Because he was afraid that you would say something that would, blow his cover or something like that. Take it as it resonates, Libra. I see you choosing to come out into the sun from your tower, choosing this in the future. It's not going to be an easy choice, but I do see some social support behind your choice. It's like you're definitely going to have to reach out to people. You have to quickly choose. Okay, yeah, you're going to have to quickly make a choice this particular month. Quickly choose to get out of here. Rider, landing on the house of the coffin, says you're going to have to really keep your plans secret because he's going to do his best to cut you off as you're escaping, is what I see. You are going to have to, I can now see that this is a domestic abuser. You are going to have to be really, really cautious around this person, and don't breathe a word around his friends, his family, anybody who would send stuff back to him. You're on a journey ultimately towards success if you can keep it that way, okay? I hope that you are headed towards success. And I hope that you can kind of dispel the myths around why you've been isolated, about how successfully this man isolated you. Or I should say, this could be a woman who has a lot of really powerful traits that make her arrogant, if you will, dominant, overly dominant. That's what I'm talking about when it's not so much about gender expression. It's about spiritual aspects of ourselves. But this man has got you isolated. I can see that much. It looks like the lies are ultimately what going to force you to make a choice. Like, you're just going to be confronting lie after lie after lie, and at a certain point you're really not going, it's just going to be just clouds, absolute confusion, not able to see your way clearly forward, and leaving is going to be one of the best ways to end that. Yeah, coming out from your tower, right? It's like this dude has tried to do his best to cut off your success with his lies. You might have had a really good career. You might have had some really neat hobbies that could have earned you a lot of cash. You might have been earning a lot of cash before you met this particular guy, but he is jealous of your success. He wants it for himself, and he'll sabotage you to make himself feel better, even if he doesn't really get any benefit, even if he doesn't get good like you, for instance. He'll do what he can to make himself feel better. That might mean verbally cutting you to bits, okay? So, Libra, how can you handle this month as best as you possibly can? Okay, this is a thorny one, I remember. This is 2 strikes through. This is gorse. Yeah, they're not at a diagonal. I've got my cheat sheet out here, okay? So this is about, sexy stuff. Is this about getting back in touch with your sexuality? You know, the lily card didn't pop up in this particular spread, but Libra, this may be about reclaiming your sexuality for your own. It may be that your boyfriend, husband made you do some things sexually that you didn't like to do, and part of this is taking that back for yourself. You may have believed some lies about your sexuality. You might be coming out of the closet. You need to take this as it resonates, but something here has to do with your sexuality and taking good care of it. We also have 4 strikes through, which is the aspen. This is about spirits. This is about, sorry, my kitties. I'll bring out the cheat sheet. This is about spirits, grief, fear, communication with ancestors and the divine. So this is interesting. Both get in contact with your sexuality, get to your deepest place when it comes to that stuff. Maybe go to therapy if you're coming out of the closet. That's going to be really helpful for a lot of folks. Do you know, like, now that I look at this, like, future row, I'm realizing that might be you coming out, like, out of the closet. Like, again, take it as it resonates. I don't know how many LGBT people I've got on the channel, but yeah, that's definitely about your guiding spirits, your ancestors, and the universe wanting you to get in touch with your sexuality so that you can move forward into a new future. New marriage, new partnership, maybe kids even. That's absolutely fascinating. Well, Libra, trust in the divine. That's your advice. Trust in the divine and see what you can do to revive your sexuality again. That may take time, okay? Give yourself lots of breaks. Air signs, I hope that you all have a great February. Take care.